What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Plus Added Time here on Project Dits. I am very jubilant. We're going to win the league. Darragh or not. How do you feel?
I've never felt so wanting to put off a podcast. I was thinking, Nathan, can we just call it off for a week? I'm very badly sick. And you were like, I don't think you are. And I was like, yeah, definitely something wrong with me.
Yep. Forced you to get a COVID test. I had the results sent to my house.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just when I thought it couldn't get any better, the last month's been pretty good. We've got United away tomorrow. It is tomorrow, isn't it? Sunday.
Tomorrow at time of recording, so some of you crazy kittens might be listening to this post-game. But we are recording beforehand. We are recording as Southampton go in at half-time, 1-up on Arsenal. So if you want to know the exact time when we were speaking to each other, there's your reference.
There you go. And speaking of the FA Cup, last week's trivia question, Nathan, do you remember it? Probably not.
I do. It was the only team that have lost but still gone through.
Yes.
Yeah, I struggle. I've had a pretty good record with these so far, but this one stumped me. I had to think about it, but I wasn't going to Google anything, so please let me know.
Well, the reference is the reason that they progressed to the next round. It was the season United were playing in was it called the Intercontinental Cup back then or something? Which sounds like a wrestling belt. The Intercontinental Cup. And so obviously they withdrew from the competition. So it gave up their place to another team. So they took, I think it was 20 teams who were knocked out from the round before. They went into a big lotto, and the team that got pulled out progressed to the next round. So it's 99-2000. Do you want to have a guess, Nathan? It's a team who, I don't even know if they still exist, but at one point during the mid-2000s, there was a lot of fanfare around them. They just got a new stadium, but then they went bankrupt.
Oh, so is it Wimbledon?
No, it's Darlington.
Oh, can't pretend. I've heard of Darlington, but I've never heard of the team.
I think they had a 20,000 stadium built, but they were in non-league football, so they just obviously went bankrupt.
That's so stupid.
It's poor ownership, I think, is what it was.
It's almost like the FA need to have better standards of run clubs or something.
Do you know the scary thing is we could hypothetically become football owners.
Oh, easily.
I don't think they even have a test. It's just show up if you have enough money. Go ahead, lad.
And we've got enough money to do podcasts, so
that is being streamed to literally tens of people.
Yeah, I reckon I could make the Glazers a decent offer.
Make him an offer he can with booze.
But I mean, do you want to cheer yourself up with your unique peak of the week, or should we jump into this Burnley?
That's good. We'll do that. I think the longer I can go without talking about it, I think the better I'll feel. Hopefully I'll be more upbeat for it. I've gone for classic unique peak of the week. One football one. I've gone for one. This week I've gone for a bit of a ranty one, Nathan.
Oh, okay.
And then the third one, just something lighthearted for the kids to wrap up.
Well, I think let's get the kids one out of the way first, because I don't want them to listen, and then they can go.
Right. Okay.
And then have your rant, and then finish the sandwich with some good football.
That's a pretty tasty sandwich. I would go again. Okay. Well, the one for the kids, Nathan. Do you eat or drink soup? Because I think of soup as a food, but surely you can't drink food.
I think first off, it depends on the soup. Like if you've got a hearty kind of chunky vegetable soup, you would be eating the vegetables, but I guess then the broth would kind of be like when you have a gravy over something.
Yeah, I haven't been able to wrap my head around this for weeks.
I feel like I think they would claim you eat soup, but we all know that's a liquid.
They being the Illuminati, or
the man. So it's big soup.
The big soup men.
Yeah, big soup, but just telling us we're eating soup. But I think you must drink soup, because when you got that little bit left of the bowl, do you pick up your bowl and slurp up the rest? Are you one of those boys?
No, I'm spoon all the way.
Just spooning it the entire way.
Spooning my soup until it's finished. Yeah, because again, I I think stuff that you eat with a fork, and fork with soup is just a bad mix.
So do you not eat ice cream? Or do you use fork to eat ice cream?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
What about pizza? Don't tell me you eat pizza with a knife and fork.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
you've
God
got
for
me there.
that.
I'm
Thank
just
fuck for that.
now that I think about it.
Utensils, but I do think
Yeah,
I think you drink soup, but if you got chunks in it, then you got to eat those.
it's a tough one. I think we're actually out of time after that debate. We went on for a long time. Um, then my next, my rant one. This one goes out to the people of my hometown. um, Again, we're still in lockdown. And there isn't much to do. I've been going on a lot of walks lately, and depending on my work schedule through whatever, I can only go out at certain times. And it seems that everyone where I live, Nathan, I imagine it could be the same where you live. Everyone goes for a walk between about 2 and 4 in the afternoon, and they're always stopped chatting to someone in groups of about at least 5.
That's pretty annoying. Well, I am fortunate to not live in a very populated area. So, but yeah, you do get it where sometimes you go out for like I'll take the dog for a walk in the morning and I'll accidentally go out at the same time as everyone takes their dog for a walk in the morning.
It's horrible. It feels like, and this is even the bit that annoys me yet. I mean, it is pretty annoying, but you know, but it feels like just everyone has suddenly taken up walking just because they've nothing better to do. I imagine some of these people haven't walked in about 20 years.
You do get that when you look at some people, because let's be honest, like this, some people look weird, but some people also look really weird when you can tell they don't do a lot of exercise, so they just can't walk properly.
Some people look weird.
People do like the way people are put together sometimes is really weird, but it's when you get the people where they're walking and their feet are turning like fully outward, like their toes are pointing off at like a right angle, and they're kind of like waddling. It's just unnatural, and you're like, don't take up walking just because you got nothing else to do. Do something else.
Yeah, like I mean, I go for walks pretty much all the time, and just I'm used to seeing the same familiar faces from the I don't know, probably about 5 or 6 years I've been going for walks at this stage, and it's just I sound like a dog, don't I? Just anted to get out of the house. But the bit that annoys me the most is when you are where I live. Some of the footpaths are very narrow, so there's only really room for one with the 2 meter rule. So the bit that annoys me is when you're walking on the footpath and you get to the narrow bits, is when you're face to face with a person and it's almost like Clint Eastwood. Wow, wow, wow. And it's who's going to get off the footpath first. That's a tongue twister. Get off the footpath first and like go slightly on the road, if you know what I mean. I'm personally of the
Yeah,
opinion that the person who's facing the oncoming traffic should be the one who goes out onto the road as they can see the traffic coming. But I
that,
will I
that
will
makes
pull
sense.
the inside of the footpath for as long as possible until Doris has decided to make me look an absolute mug and it's just forced me to go onto the road, and it's not fair.
It's not fair. There should be like give way signs, like with traffic.
Or just common sense.
Yeah,
that
well,
would
just common sense.
that would
People should just
suffice for me.
not be so rude.
It's
Don't they know
just
who you are?
which I make very clear to them. I'd say, "Do you not know this voice?" And they go, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, crumbs."
Then you force them to give you their phone and go on download Spotify for them and just subscribe to our feed.
I'll have to start doing that. And we will. I'll wrap it up with the football one. For me, one of my favorite things in football is when you see the keeper go up for the last minute corner. It's something that makes football great. Um, Usually when a team tends to be losing by a goal, they'll send the keeper up for the last minute. And I don't know what it is, but the ball always seems to go like straight at the keeper, and they almost always seem to make contact with it. But
Yeah.
I've done a bit of digging. In the 28 and a half years of Premier League football, only 2 keepers have ever scored from corner situations, and no keeper has ever scored a header,
No keeper's ever scored a header.
which seems so bizarre to me. The only
Uh,
two that have come from corners are Peter Schmeichel for Aston Villa where he like hits it on the volley kind of, and it goes in off the crossbar.
Mm.
And Brad Friedel, who goes up and there's like
Oh,
a
of
bit of ping
course.
pong in the box, and he just like puts it in. And my favorite part about that is that he actually concedes again like a minute after that. So he's got what he thinks is the equalising goal, and then he's like conceded. I think he gets like chipped from like a long way out. But yeah, no keeper has ever scored a header in a Premier League game.
That's staggering. Did you see though? We got a new. Speaking of goalkeepers scoring goals, a new Guinness World Record for the longest goal scored in
I
competitive football.
did. I
Yeah.
did see that, yes.
Shout out to Newport County goalkeeper Tom King. It was in a 1-1 draw with Cheltenham. Cheltenham who take on Man City this weekend in the FA Cup. So good luck to them. 96.01 meters.
Was it? I've seen the footage. Was it a goal kick? Was it a free kick?
To be honest, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I have no context behind the clip.
Yeah, and there was a goalkeeper as well who took a penalty this week as well, which I will do a very quick bit of Googling to find out who that was.
Yeah.
But there was a goalkeeper, Ibar goalkeeper Marko Dimitrov, scored past Jan Oblak in La Liga.
Right.
I think the story behind it, and this might be wrong, is that they'd missed their last 2 penalties or something, so they just gave it to the goalkeeper.
Join a really weird like bit of trivia that I have for some reason.
Go for it, always. That's why
You
you're
know,
here.
the only goalkeeper in competitive football to score a hat trick in a game, Jose Luis Chilavert, former Paraguay
I was about to say, is that the Paraguayan goalkeeper who
international. Yes.
always takes penalties for his club?
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was like the club's penalty. So he has a crazy good, like insane goal stats. He scores like 12 a season or something.
Yeah, there was him, and then there was Rogério Ceni, who used to play for Sao Paulo, who I think one season got like 20 goals a season. I think it's like 2005, the year they won the Copa Libertadores.
Mm,
It's
that's
a weird
mad.
one. I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more keepers taking penalties.
Didn't Tim Howard score a goal as well?
He did. Can you name the keeper he scored past?
I can't.
Liverpool legend Adam Bogdan.
Oh, oh my God. I remember when you signed him and I was just staggered.
I was at the time. I was kind of like, as a backup keeper, that's fair enough. We just gotten rid of Brad Jones, who didn't look very good, and then he went on to like, I'm almost certain he nearly won the Ballon d'Or when he went to Feyenoord. He just suddenly turned into a world class keeper overnight. As for Adam Bogdan, if he didn't look like Ed Sheeran, he wouldn't have much going for him. It's a good bit of goalkeeper stuff
There you
going.
go,
Will
some
I?
goalkeeper. Matt Ryan has joined Arsenal to be backup.
Oh yeah, that was a weird one for me. I thought.
I then realised the reason I've done. Did you watch them when they had that Runnison, who's their backup goalie in goal?
Is this Arsenal?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
he was. No disrespect to the guy, I'm sure he's better than he looked in that game. But I was watching him play one game. I can't remember who it was against, but he was dreadful.
Was it? I think it was Man City.
And he looked completely incompetent.
Yeah, I think it was like Riyad Mahrez took a free kick and it just went straight through his
Yeah,
hands.
it went straight through his hands. That's it. It was Man City, and he's not played since. I don't believe. I could be wrong on that. So I think he's probably just going to play back up to Leno.
He got absolutely slated online because, of course, he did. Because Arsenal fans have a great sense of humour.
Because everyone's lovely, but yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to play very often. But then he wasn't playing at Brighton either, so.
Which is weird because when they first came up, I think he only missed like one game in the first 2 seasons they got promoted.
Yeah, he always seems like a decent goalkeeper, but apparently not. What do we know?
I always thought he was good. Well, anyways, Nathan, again, I'm going to delay the Liverpool chat for a bit longer while I set up the show with the fan favourite, Sockbusters.
Let's do this.
For anyone who isn't aware, I imagine there's a lot of you. If you've ever watched Blockbusters, very similar to that. I'll give you a cryptic clue and some initials, and you have to try and work out who the footballer is. This week, they will all be Chelsea related.
Oh, good.
So just to start off with a bit of an easy one. So there's going to be 3. I always make the first one a bit easy to try and lure you in, and then I get you with the third one. So the first one is: it took Leonardo DiCaprio until 2016 to win one of these. Initial O. I think that's a pretty straightforward one.
You should have just put it with, I have massively wasted my career. Oh.
Number two, the father can't remember if he has a little boy, initial E. And the third one, my young lad is a giant hill, initials M, M, M for mother, M, M. So we will look forward to that barnstorming quiz at the end of the show.
Oh, well, let's get into let's make the sandwich, give it a nice meaty filling as we talk about
do we have to?
Liverpool. Liverpool, who Andy Carroll has scored more goals in January than Liverpool so
Oh,
far.
that's terrifying, isn't it? Oh, there was that stat where it was like between the two goals he scored, I think it was like December 2017. It was something mad like that. But
It's mental. But yeah, after the 0-0 draw with United, which we thought was kind of a boring game, although United had the clear-cut chances. You at home to Burnley. I told you not to worry. Then the lineup came out, and I still told you not to worry.
yeah, it was
I
amazing.
laughed.
We had a fit senior centre back starting a game. It was a rare occurrence.
Yeah,
First time all year.
Didn't improve your defence.
I think, in fairness, I think Joel Matip had a very good game, and I kind of forget how good he is until he's actually out there. It's just a shame he's made of cheese strings, and he's just broken every second or third week. And I think Fabinho, for a player who's only played the position a handful of times leading up to this, although he's been there for about, I'd say, 4 months at this stage, I think he's been pretty good. And I'm not going to slate Alisson for giving away the penalty. I've seen a lot of people saying he shouldn't have come out and he shouldn't have, went for the ball. I don't know what they're talking about because Ashley Barnes was 1-on-1 with them.
Pretty much, yeah. That's it's one of those situations where if the striker does the right thing, they're either going to get round the goalie or get taken out. And Ashley Barnes isn't someone who's going to shy away from just taking one for the team, and just getting battered. He's a pretty tough, kind of old school centre forward. So I do agree that's a bit stupid. Like, if Alisson stands back? Was he going to hope that he Origis it off the bar or something like?
That's the new vocabulary. But I thought Alisson had a really good game, and he makes a good save that probably not many people will remember because it came from an offside from Ashley Barnes. Do you even remember, Nathan?
No idea. Was it the header?
It was a volley that he smashed and he saved it with one hand. But after this game, I feel you could just use my match reaction from any of the games over the last month because it just feels like I'm watching the same game every week. It's just not good enough, really, is it? It's just lack of fight, no creativity. No one seems to want to win. No one's sort of grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and going for it. Not even just Jordan Henderson, but sometimes Sadio Mane will just kind of pick up the ball and he'll just sort of just run at people and he'll just create something. I remember a goal he scored against Southampton last season where he literally has nowhere to go and he just kind of keeps running and then he just smashes it from about 25 yards out and he just gets a top corner.
Yeah, and I want to question slightly this Shaqiri thing.
Yeah.
Because against United, look, he's very mobile, and I think that sometimes disguises, for United fans to give a reference, it's when we'd have Ander Herrera in midfield. He runs a lot, and he tries very hard. But I just don't see why Shaqiri's been dropped into that free midfield.
Yes, I thought the exact same thing. So
because even against United, he'd ran a lot, which made him, in my opinion, it made him look useful. But he's also very easy to win the ball off.
Yeah, he's, for anyone who didn't see the game maybe or didn't see the team sheet, Shaqiri was part of the midfield three, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was out right wing, which made very little sense because Shaqiri usually plays on the right wing, and Ox is the only attacking midfielder we seem to have at the club. And we've seen Klopp play Ox out wide on a couple of occasions. It never works. It never goes well.
Yeah.
And, Ox hasn't been great since he came back into the team. But at least if he plays in midfield, you might get more out of him than at right wing, because he's got that long shot that I think only Fabinho really has that I've seen in the team lately. And I'm happy with Shaqiri back in the team, but I don't know what Takumi Minamino has to do to get more than 5 seconds of football. I don't know what Ox has done to justify starting like 3 of the last 4 games. Whereas when Minamino last started the game, he scored against Crystal Palace and we, won the game.
Yeah, your entire right side just didn't really work. If we talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, Shaqiri as the right side of that midfield, and then Oxlade-Chamberlain up as right wing, like Trent Alexander-Arnold has just been having an absolute nightmare. I think it summed it up. Was it him that Dwight McNeil just absolutely murdered at one point?
Yes, yeah, I do remember that as well.
Absolutely did him. Dwight McNeil, who what a fantastic player. He's looking like he's not really been in the Burnley side starting lately. I'm not sure if any Burnley fans can let us know why, but every time I've watched him play, him and Josh Brownhill, I've watched a few times this season as well. Fantastic players. So us moaning about Liverpool, or you moaning about Liverpool, and me just kind of slamming more on top. Don't want to take away from how well Burnley played.
Yeah, I think Burnley did play very well, but I think with the quality that Liverpool have, they should be going out and being able to beat a Burnley. And that's not to say Burnley didn't create much. They actually were probably one of the most attacking teams we've played lately. I expect them to come and just park the bus. But they were properly having a go, I'd say, for the first half, definitely. I think it sort of dropped off in stages at the second half, maybe down to fatigue or whatever. There was a stat at one point where it was like 90 to 10% possession in the second half, I think.
Yeah, and I think quite early on, I think it was in the 57th minute, that's when you brought on Salah and Firmino.
Yeah.
Firmino? Firmino. Yeah, I'm just combining everyone's name there. But that's obviously a bit of a game changer. But we said it wasn't too long after that Burnley were again right around the penalty about 20 minutes later or so. But I think the way Burnley kind of dropped off, it comes down kind of to squad depth. I think when you can bring on Roberto Firmino, Salah, and Minamino, and they brought on Eric Peters because of injury, and Goodmanson. Not that they're great Premier League players, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're not Firmino and Salah.
I think it's just a lack of. I've been complaining that we haven't been creating enough chances lately. I think we had something like 20 attempts in the game, but only 6 of which ended up on target.
Yeah, I've got that in front of me. You had 27 shots.
Never mind.
6 were on target.
There you go.
72% possession to 28. Whereas Burnley had 6 shots on and 4 on target. So you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4 times as many shots as them and getting 2 more on target. And I know one of them's going to be the penalty, obviously, for Burnley, but still.
Even when you say those stats out and all that possession, it didn't really feel like it in the game if you watched it. Again, there were certain stages where Liverpool just kind of had the ball, but I think Burnley were definitely almost deserving of the win in a way. I didn't think they played that bad at all.
And Dyche set them up perfectly, which Dyche very rarely gets setting up this Burnley side wrong. He's got them playing wonderful football with perhaps not the quality of a lot of other sides.
Yeah.
But still, they were pushing up. Like they were caught. It's a really random stat to throw out, but they were caught offside 6 times, which tells you that they were pushing. They were playing kind of on the wing of the person, and they had no corners either.
That's a weird one.
Which seems mad. So it wasn't just the swinging in set pieces that I think the point that I'm trying to make. It wasn't just. It wasn't just what you imagine Burnley would have been doing, which is trying to win free kicks and swinging the ball in. They were actually playing.
And you say that stat about the offside 6 times or whatever. Wasn't Marcus Rashford caught offside something like 6 times? So it shows that the teams have obviously identified a weakness that they're trying to exploit, which is just taking out the midfield completely, just trying to get it in behind and get them in behind the defenders.
It does, because it takes, I think the reason for that is Wijnaldum and Thiago. Obviously, you want to take Thiago out the game, which is what we had going back to the United game, what we had Fred and McTominay doing in our midfield. Their job was to try and take Thiago's time away and everything like that. But that's what they were getting. Burnley were doing the exact same thing and then trying to play it quickly in behind because Trent Alexander-Arnold is massively off form. Robertson is usually halfway up the pitch, and Matip is only just back, and Fabinho is not a centre half. So it just seems easy, doesn't it? It's just attack with pace because you're hoping they're not really going to know what to do.
And you talk about, I'd say, this stereotype going into this game, like you said, would just be Burnley just trying to get the ball into the box, whereas it was the complete opposite. All Liverpool seemed to be able to even attempt in the game was just get it out wide, cross it, not win the header, and then Burnley would just kick it away. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously in the Southampton game, he had 38 times he gave the ball away. In this game, another fun one for you, he made 18 crosses on the night. Nathan, how many do you reckon were successful?
I know the answer. It was none. And but one thing I think that's an absolute, not just an indictment of Trent Alexander-Arnold's crossing, Trent Alexander-Arnold's set piece play. So his name is just fun to say. That's why we always say all three of the words. But his crossing's unbelievable. But what that tells to me is you started Origi up top. Origi's a big guy. Was he about 6'2"?
So he is. He's something like that.
Yeah,
6'2".
He's a big guy. But I was watching the game and he wasn't getting on the end of anything. And it was not just that he wasn't trying to get on the end of anything. Well, that might have been it. He might have not been trying to get on the end of everything. He just wasn't where you thought he was going to be. Like,
no, when you say Divock Origi starting with Sadio Mane, you'd expect Mane to be out wide and Divock to be going through the middle. It never works like that. For some reason, Origi is always made to drift out wide. I have no idea why that is.
It's just too easy to push out of position, maybe. Or it's his job to try and drag the centre half away so that Mane can get in behind with pace. But Origi's not that sort of player. That's what you want Firmino to be doing.
And it doesn't work. I've seen him play about 10 times this season. It never works. And the only time he scored this season was Lincoln City away in the Cup, which, no disrespect to Lincoln, but it's League Two opposition.
Yeah, you would have thought that there must be a reason, and it must be down to the bits that we don't see, which is training. But Minamino, he's got a good engine on him. He can run around. Surely he's a lot smaller than Origi, so it will change the game plan. But surely, if you don't want to play Firmino because you're resting him for United at the weekend, do you not want to get Minamino in there, just kind of causing havoc? But Burnley, the Burnley back four, Tarkowski and Ben Mee, are massive. So
he is a sort of a nimble sort of dribbler of a player. He is kind of small, but again, the last time he started, the front three was Mane, Firmino, and Minamino, and it just worked perfectly. I think we scored like 3 times in the opening half hour, something like that, and the interplay between them just looked really good. Whereas lately, the front three just haven't been clicking. Divock Origi, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Shaqiri have all sort of had their chances in the front three, and just we haven't scored full stop. So I don't know why Minamino wouldn't get a chance if he doesn't start against United. Then I don't know what the point of having him there is.
I mean, I don't think he will. Surely Salah and Firmino got rested so that they'll start at Old Trafford this weekend. Mane, did he play the whole game?
I think he did. I don't think Mane has ever had a game off, if I'm being honest.
Because the thing, Salah's going to start on the right, isn't he? So Minamino maybe can move across to the left and start, and then you can bring Mane off the bench if you need him. But I mean, Minamino up if you put him on the left, you put Minamino up against Wan-Bissaka.
I just want to see Minamino given a chance, if I'm being honest.
He just seems like a nice guy.
He's a lovely lad. He's played midfield the last few times he's been in the team, and he just doesn't really look like a Liverpool midfielder. I mean, none of them do at the minute, I guess you could say. But he just doesn't look like a midfielder. He looks like he should be part of the front three, and he should definitely be getting more of a chance instead of the 5-10 minute cameos he only gets at the end.
Well, 2 questions for you. One is going to be something that you actually messaged me about, which is, I think it was John Barnes and someone else.
Oh yeah,
Didi Hamann, who said Thiago is basically wrong for this Liverpool side.
Yeah, and he doesn't fit the team. I don't know what. I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, at least Didi Hamann, I suppose, is a Bundesliga correspondent who actually, I imagine, watches most of the games for a living. But he's going on about Thiago. He's too slow on the ball, and he's not this like extraordinary player that he's made out to be. But I don't really know what he's talking about, because Thiago seems to be the only player who even looks like creating anything. Like, he's very quick to get the ball forward. His passing is amazing, just whipping it out wide or playing it through to the front three. I think it's more just whoever's playing the attacking positions is just so badly out of form and just can't take their chances. Like the Divock Origi chance that you alluded to earlier. Like, he's 1-on-1 with the keeper after a bad back pass. As a professional striker, he must have been in that situation at least 1,000 times through matches and training and everything. Like, he doesn't even get it on target, smacks it off the crossbar. And the only other real chances that come to mind were Salah, who it took a good save from Nick Pope, to be fair, but Bobby Firmino had a class chance where it got pulled back to him and he just shanked it wide. So I don't know why all the hate for, well, maybe not hate, but all the bad press coming out for Thiago.
I think I can relate to that with Paul Pogba, where sometimes if the side's not playing well, the pundits and journalists will always tend to turn towards whoever the top dog is in the team that played. So obviously for us, it would usually be Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
Because he cost all the money is what they always bring it back to. So maybe it's that at the minute, because Van Dijk's not there. They're kind of just turning on Thiago. But the other thing is, to come to the defence of Thiago a little bit, is he's only just come back.
Yeah, he's only played about, I think, 5 games, and the United game was his first game at Anfield.
Yeah, and he's been chucked into a side that haven't been playing well anyway, and then has just been kind of said, oh well, there you go. Like, you got Wijnaldum, who by all accounts isn't even staying at the club. I don't think he's been playing very well either. I think if you had more options available, saying that the only other option would be Naby Keita, and he wouldn't last 2 seconds.
No, I mean, yeah.
I don't think he'd be in the squad at the minute. But no, it's a mystery. It's a hilarious mystery.
I imagine you're loving it.
Yeah, Spurs have a game in hand at the minute. If they win that, they will push you out of the top 4, which seems insane.
Who are we playing next, Nathan?
You're at Old Trafford in the FA
Premier League.
Cup. Oh, in the Premier League. I think you got. Oh, I don't even remember. Do you know? You got Tottenham.
Yeah, Tottenham away.
You are away at Spurs. You know what? That's a big opportunity. 2 trips to London, Spurs, and then away at West Ham. And that's not going to be an easy one either, because West Ham have been playing incredibly well under Moyes at the minute. I have no idea why West Ham have not offered Moyes a new contract. It's up in the summer.
It was so weird, wasn't it, as well, when he re-signed. It seemed like just a lack of ambition and just another boring appointment. But he smashed it this season.
Smashed it. He's got rid of players that don't want to be there, and he's doing wonders. They're playing really, really well at the minute. They got a decent win over West Brom the other day, which is kind of the Big Sam derby. And but away at Spurs, that's not going to be fun for you.
It's not the game. A chance where you're in a moment where you're not creating a lot of chances. I think the last place you want to go is away to a Jose Mourinho team.
That, and your away at Old Trafford, away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then away at the London Stadium. I guess if there were fans, I would say at least you're not in front of the Kop at the minute, because things might be a little bit sour. Good God. You could even go below Everton as well. Everton have played 2 less games than you and are 2 behind.
It's just horrible. I mean, I know everyone's gone through their kind of blip all season, but when you're kind of in the middle of it, it just feels like it's never going to end. And this is the first time, I think you sent me this one, Nathan, first time we've gone 4 games without scoring since May 2000.
Yeah, it was May 2000, yeah.
So I wasn't even alive.
Oof, that hurt. We've got the last word on that.
Granddad.
I would have been 7, but yeah. Whereas United slightly rosier times. We are only top because City have played one less game. They're 2 points behind in the minute, but it took till game week 27 last season for us to get 40 points.
Wow. Did it really?
Apparently. But don't forget, we were like 7th or 8th for most. It's only because we went on this insane run towards the end of the
Yeah.
season. Where I think from the moment we signed Fernandes to the end of the season, we only lost once or something.
Yeah. Game week 27 it took you to get to 40. That just, like,
I
I
think
can
that was
remember.
true.
I can remember how like bad you were at the time. I remember after you were at the game away at Newcastle, St
Yeah.
James's, the Longstaff derby. But because I remember around that time you were getting compared to the likes of Newcastle. I think you were down in like 15th, 16th, and it was kind of similar at the start of this season. But that's incredible.
Okay, 24. Sorry, 24 games.
24.
Not 27. I do apologise for that. So
So you,
24 games to get 40 points last season.
you were taking less than 2 points a game at the time. That's mental to think about.
Yeah, and then we went on that crazy run from January, including obviously the bit where the season got suspended, and then even after that came back, we flew, and it was the win over Leicester final day of the season that got us third somehow. But that's because Leicester from January to the end of the season only won 3 league games, I think.
Yeah, yeah, they were.
Because they were on New Year's Day last season, they were 14 points ahead of us.
Yes, we played them 26th of December, Boxing Day, and it was us and them, strangely, who were like the title front runners. It wasn't Man City, and then we bet them 4-0 away, and they just kind of
Fell off
fell
a cliff.
apart after that game.
But they've got no
You're welcome.
Vardy. They've got no Vardy for a bit now because he's got a hernia. And City
Ooh,
have no Kevin De Bruyne for, what's it, 10 games, I think?
yeah, it's 4 to 6 weeks, I think is what Pep said. So probably about 20 games, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But United, well, yeah, we're going pretty well. Good win over Fulham. Fulham, who the joke of me calling them shit is kind of, even though they're still in the relegation zone, it's kind of gone because they're not that shit anymore.
Yeah,
They're kind
they're
of good
pretty
at the
good.
minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've drawn a lot of games recently. I think they drew 4 in a row or something like that in the league. So they're picking up points here and there. They've got to get some wins if they're gonna not get cut adrift. But when they scored early, I thought, oh God! But then Cavani pulled it back. Second half, we were kind of
yeah,
all over him. And then Pogba, what a goal from Paul Pogba
it was nice, wasn't it?
on his left foot,
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
But do you want to talk about Jesse Lingard, or do
Um,
you want
would love to.
the Liverpool memory squad game?
We'll wrap it up with Jesse Lingard just to get
Okay.
this horribleness.
Yeah, Jesse Lingard. He's fine, by the way. But in case anyone thinks anything major's happened to him, he has been cut from Man United's Premier League 22.
Oh,
The young up and comer has has kind of been replaced by Diallo in the squad. But Jesse Lingard, he got to play for his boyhood club, came through
yeah.
the academy. He actually was a good servant for the club, a good kind of utility player. He played everywhere. I remember LVG's first game in the league. Jesse Lingard appeared out of nowhere to start a right wing back,
Ooh,
and
that's yeah.
yeah, not great. And
Yeah,
and then he got injured, I think, in that game. He didn't play again for ages.
I I always remember, didn't Alex Ferguson say something like it'll take a few years for him to grow into his body, but by the age of 24, 25, he'll be playing for Manchester United.
He did, yeah. Apparently, he did say that because Jesse Lingard didn't, like, physically just hadn't developed. Like, you see pictures of him playing for like the under 18s and that, and he was so tiny compared to everyone. So, and to be like, Fergie was right.
Yeah, I remember when he like sort of broke onto the scene almost in the like what was it, like 15, 16 season, I'd say.
Yeah,
Around about that time, I kind of thought, oh, this new up and coming kid, he must be like 18, 19. I think he was like 24, 23, 24 at the time.
he'd been on loan a couple of times, but there was a time where everyone thought, oh, Martial, Lukaku, and Lingard, that's going to be our front three for a while. And there was like 'cause he was playing pretty well. Like he would kind of get thrown around from the wing to a 10 to a right forward, and he kind of played everywhere.
He was very
But
good under Jose, from what I remember. I think
it's
he'd one really good season.
because he works really hard defensively.
Yeah,
Like Jesse Lingard does have a good engine on him to just keep on going. But it has been time for him to go for over a season now if he
it's
wants to
time to
play.
go.
Because he was also an England regular.
Yeah, he was. He was at the World Cup, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. So he got to win. He won us the FA Cup. He obviously got to win the Europa League as well.
Yeah.
I think he won the. Did he win the League Cup? Yeah, he would have done.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he won the League Cup. FA Cup winning goal on the same day that Pardew did his stupid fucking dance and they went one up.
Oh, I love that.
It's never good to do that and then lose to a side that are down to 10 men.
I'm so happy that both our teams stopped Alan Pardew winning an FA Cup final.
Pardew, God
So
damn it.
longer that man doesn't win, I don't think he will at this point. But I'm kind of happy that he never won a trophy.
He's over in Russia, isn't he? As like a football director of football
think
at a
so.
club or something like that. Like
You-
that's where he's ended up.
I remember he was randomly at like, I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's like AOD Den Haag or something. They're always like in the
Yeah.
Netherlands, in the Eredivisie on FIFA. And he
And
got sacked there.
Failed horrifically.
So if he can manage at that level, I like to think he's finished in the Premier League.
Yeah. But he merely rocked at the Emirates as well, did Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
We'll always have that. So
And he scored at Anfield at the Cop End.
he did. It's much of he unfortunately became a little bit of a meme.
Yeah.
There are a lot of players that haven't got to do who can't do the things that Jesse Lingard has done at United. And he scored goals. He scored the last goal of last season for us in the league.
Got you Champions League football, yeah.
I mean, we already had it 'cause we were winning, but we don't need to bring that up.
Oh, okay. I was too busy at the top of the table to remember.
Where does he end up, Lingard? If you
I
put
don't know.
cards on the table now.
Who has he been linked with? I honestly have not been.
Well,
I
we
can't say
don't
I'm
know
his
if he's going to
biggest fan.
leave in this January because there's only 8 days left of the window at time of recording. And
Like- And again, I'll be honest, I haven't seen him play in a very long time. Is he still like mid-table Premier League standard, or is he below that?
I think he could do a job like for someone like the trouble is you say like a Sheffield United. I think they could use someone like him, but is he going to go down to a proper relegation scrap because they're all but down at the minute?
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
someone like a no, I don't want to say a West Ham because I don't know if they, but certainly someone of that level could use him because he would play. The problem at United is he's just not going to play.
I think if Adam Lallana can get into the Brighton team, I think Jesse Lingard has a chance of making it in the Premier League.
Yeah, if Brighton's not a bad shout, why
Yeah.
not? West Brom could certainly use him if Sam Allardyce needs some people that can get forward and defend. Jesse
Which he
Lingard
can do
can
both.
do that, or maybe he goes abroad. I can't remember. There was a La Liga club that had inquired about him. I think Nice over in France had inquired as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit complicated now because Brexit.
Anyways, Nathan, do you want to hit me with your?
Okay,
quiz
here we go.
segment?
For regular listeners, you'll know this, but for anyone new, I've got a Liverpool squad from the past. It is in Darragh's short lifespan. I'm just going to read out the starting 11, but with some people missing. All you have to do is try and remember. So this is from 2012, and it is the Merseyside derby in the FA Cup at
Semi-final.
Anfield.
Oh no.
It might have been at Wembley then.
Yeah. Okay,
So I just saw it was just because it was Liverpool
Yeah.
v Everton. The Liverpool lineup is as follows: Brad Jones in goal. From
hope.
right to left, Glenn Johnson, Jamie Carragher, Martin Skirtle, and blank. Jordan Henderson, blank. Steven Gerrard and Stuart Downing at the midfield. Andy Carroll was joined by blank up front.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've got two of them straight away.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd leave Brad Jones out because I knew
No,
for a
'cause we'd
fact.
already made. I was going to originally, but then you'd already spoken about him on the pod. I was like, well, I can't leave him out now.
Pepe Reina got sent off at St James's Park. So then Alexander Donny, I don't know if anyone, I don't think even think Liverpool fans remember Alexander Donny, came in at Ewood Park against Blackburn, got sent off again. Brad Jones's first touch in the game was to save a penalty from Yakubu. And then he was third choice keeper, and then he was just suddenly starting this FA Cup semi-final. Okay, I'm pretty sure I remember, because I remember Everton score early in the game, and it's a mix-up between Jamie Carragher and Daniel Agger. So I think Daniel Agger is the defender.
Correct.
Okay, and I know for a fact that Luis Suarez scored in the game, so I'm putting Suarez up alongside Andy Carroll.
Correct.
Now the midfield. I'm stuck between two. It's a very Brexity sounding midfield. I'm between two players, which is Charlie Adam and Jay Spearing, because Charlie Adam was a starter around this time, because Steven Gerrard was injured for a lot of the season, but he sort of made his comeback towards the end of the season. I think Jay Spearing and Charlie Adam. I'm gonna go Charlie Adam.
Sorry, Darragh, it was Jay Spearing.
Oh my god.
You were so close.
Oh, I nearly smashed that. Oh,
you did. You did well.
Fun fact: that was the game where it sort of felt like Everton were destined to win that game and go to the FA Cup final. They had such a good team. Moyes had built such a good team. It was his penultimate season, and it felt like that was their moment to overtake Liverpool. But as soon as Liverpool won, it just kind of felt like they were just never going to be better than Liverpool, I guess. And I think that's fair to say. I don't think I'm controversial in saying that.
No, I don't think you are. Maxi Rodriguez and Craig Bellamy came off the bench. No Charlie Adam in the squad at all, but Jose Enrique, Dirk Wright, Shelvey, Kelly and Galaxy.
Oh, Peter Galaxy. He's the RB Leipzig keeper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were on the bench. The Everton lineup on the day, as you said, it was a very, very good sounding side. Tim Howard in goal, Phil Neville, Sylvain Distin, John Heitinger and Leighton Baines, Leon Osman, Marouane Fellaini, Darren Gibson and Magai Gay, Tim Cahill and Nikita Jelavic.
Yes, that was like streets won't forget level front two. Tim Cahill is just one of my favorite players. Like, I know he played for Everton and Millwall, but I swear he was like 5'5" and he just scored a header in every game against Liverpool.
Pretty much. So, well, so close, so very close.
I thought I had it. I thought, because I knew two of them for certain, so I thought I had you, but I didn't. I guess Charlie Adam had been dropped at that stage.
Yeah, just dropped completely.
Yeah. Well, another random sort of thing I thought I'd spring on you this week, Nathan, is I was on the Cameo website. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's basically where you can get celebrities, or just not even famous people, just people who are very desperate for money, and you give them a fee and they send you like a personalized message, like video message, which is kind of cool, I guess. So I thought I'd give you a few names, and all I want from you is just tell me higher or lower. So if they cost more or less than the previous person.
Let's do this.
So I'm going to start it off with Michael Owen. Just how much do you think a personalised message from Michael Owen would set you back?
350 quid.
Okay, it's not that bad. It's 147 euro and 60 cent, which I think is sort of reasonable enough.
Yeah, that's about 150 English pounds.
Okay, so your first higher or lower is Jose Altidore.
Now, this could be tricky because I don't know how big a deal Jose Altidore is in the States. But I know they don't really like soccer. So I'm going to go lower.
Incorrect. It's actually higher. Jose Altidore will set you back 164 euro.
The cheek. Remember when he played for Sunderland, he never scored.
He was one of the worst. Well, I think if you look at the stats, I think he is probably one of the worst strikers.
They swapped him. They swapped him for Defoe, didn't they?
Yeah. Which is probably one of the best deals in Premier League history.
Defoe came to Sunderland, not the other way around.
Your next one is recently let go by Sky. Matt Letizia, higher or lower than Jose Altidore?
Tis, he is a very lazy man, so I can imagine he's not wanting to do many. So he's just like, I'm just going to put it at 200 so no one does it. I'm going to go higher.
I think this might shock you a bit. I nearly feel, I don't even know if bad is the right word, but it just kind of feels a bit sad. It's lower for a start. How much do you think Matt Letizia charges for a cameo?
Oh, is it super low? Is it like £20?
It's 32 quid.
That's not bad, because he would have got a nice bumper pay from Sky. I think he's some kind of chairperson at Southampton, isn't he?
I imagine he's some sort of ambassador
or something. Yeah, so he's going to be rolling in cash. So maybe he just wants to do loads. Maybe he's got fuck all to do.
Except for pissing about on Paddy Power ads.
Yeah, they are quite funny, to be fair.
I'm a huge fan. Your next one is current Premier League footballer Christian Fuchs.
He loves his social media, doesn't he?
He does.
That's got to be higher.
Correct. Christian Fuchs will set you back 78 quid.
That's not bad. I bet.
Not bad at all.
I bet Leicester take a little bit of a cut of that.
I mean, I don't really know what kind of personalised message I want from Christian Fuchs, but big up to him.
Yeah,
actually,
what we want.
When I first went onto the site, actually, I thought about players who I just definitely knew would be on it, and of course, Jose Enrique was on it, because I don't think anyone has ever spent more time on social media than Jose Enrique.
He didn't leave Liverpool well, did he?
He was well. In fairness, he did have a medical condition that the club kind of kept quiet, which was nearly a bad thing because everyone was just like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he getting new contracts? He hasn't played in like 2 years. And he just became like the club's mascot in a way. It was very strange. And then he went on to some Spanish team. Anyway, your final one your penultimate one, apologies. Louis Saha. Higher or lower than Christian Fuchs?
Christian Fuchs was what, 70?
78.
This is quite tough because Louis Saha is very fondly remembered in France.
And he's on Sky sometimes.
Yeah, so I feel like the French, would they pay a lot of money to hear from Saha?
Would you, as a Man United fan, pay a lot to hear from Louis Saha?
No.
That's fair enough.
We said this before, but he's a great player. But I can't tell you one thing he did at United. And we remember this podcast is very niche at times with our random fucking memories. I don't have a single one of Saha. And I remember when Tom Lawrence played one game for us.
I remember Alan Smith scoring against Roma, but I don't remember Louis Saha doing anything.
I don't remember Louis Saha. Like, if someone said to me he never played, I would believe them. And it seems really rude, but I'm gonna go higher.
You would be correct. Louis Saha will set you back €123.
Oh god. No
and
way.
Your final one is former Chelsea manager Avram Grant. Recker, a personalised message from Avram Grant is higher or lower than Louis Saha's €123.
The hilarious fact that there was a rumour in the papers over here that Abramovich had approached him about taking a role at the club to help Lampard.
Oh god.
I was like, no way. Seedy old man.
He's like, do you remember in this might be a very niche reference, but in Star Wars Episode 1, Nathan, I don't know if you even like Star Wars.
I'm not a Star Wars man, but
okay.
Let's find out.
There's this character, if you just type in Boss Nass, just search that into Google.
Boss Nass, let's do it. How am I spelling that? Because there's some funky spelling in.
Just Boss and then Nass is Nass.
Boss Nass.
I swear it looked exactly like.
Oh god, it does look like Avram Grant. Like a humanized frog. I'm gonna go higher. I reckon you're gonna win this by telling me he charges some bonkers amount.
You were strangely absolutely spot on. So Avram Grant How much do you reckon Avram Grant? Like, I'll give you the levels. The highest one I saw on the site was 2,000 from Caitlyn Jenner. So how much do you reckon? Well, it's not going to be that mental, but it is
No,
pretty extortionate.
it's gonna be a few hundred in it. It's gonna be like £500.
Ooh, I'm going to shock you. Not literally, but it's 820 euro for a personalized message from Boss Nass himself.
Holy! If anyone out there listening has paid that, stop listening.
Please send us the footage in. I'd love to see. I'd love to just get Avram Grant to just say something really stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon he's done that because his publicist told him to, but he also doesn't know how it works? So he's like, oh, if I put it super high, no one's going to make me do this.
Yeah.
Or do you think he has a super high opinion of himself?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about Avram Grant. Like, he was just kind of at Chelsea, and I couldn't tell you what he did before. Or I remember after he went to Portsmouth and West Ham, and he got both of them relegated.
Yeah, what's he up to these days?
Doing cameos, apparently.
God, he managed Ghana for 3 years.
Is that
He
even
was
like...
the interim manager at North East United in India.
Oh, I would not have guessed that they were from India. They sound like a Sunday League team.
Yeah, it sounds like, just like Newcastle and Sunderland, just somewhere in the middle of there. He stopped managing he is 65 to be fair, but
is that all he is? I swear he always looked about 70 at least.
How did he even get the Chelsea job? He went from managing Israel to Chelsea. How did that happen? Was he just mates with Roman Abramovich?
I mean, I think most people signed around that time were mates with Roman Abramovich, but that must be it. Like, I'd have no reason. Was he at anyone before that? Was he ever at like a top team?
No. He was at Maccabi Tel Aviv, Haspel Haifa, Maccabi Tel Aviv again,
all
then Maccabi Haifa again.
Yeah.
So he swapped between those two sides, then Israel, and then Chelsea.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and then he was at Portsmouth, then West Ham, and then Partizan Belgrade, and then BEC Tero Sasana technical director, which are a Taiwanese professional club, then Ghana, and then the interim manager at North East United, and that's the end of his career.
This is the man who took over from Jose Mourinho's first stint at Chelsea as well.
What a bizarre career that I would have thought, Avram Grant, he probably did well at like Inter Milan.
Yeah, Lazio, one of them.
Yeah, and then got the job like the same way Sarri got the Chelsea job.
Yeah. Well, I hit you with just a final one. Nathan, which of these World Cup heroes can you not get a cameo off?
Okay.
Do you reckon it's Roger Milla, Rene Higuita, or Carlos Valderrama? For anyone unaware, Roger Milla played for Cameroon and is the oldest goal scorer of the World Cup. He was 42 years old. Rene Higuita, you'll remember as the goalkeeper who done the scorpion kick against England at the old Wembley. And Carlos Valderrama just had like a massive afro when he played for Colombia, but he was like a really good footballer at the same time.
Yeah, that makes me... I feel like this is a trick because Roger Miller sounds like the most boring one because the other two sound like just they have great personalities. They'd be well up for cameo, but sometimes people are busy. Are they too busy for cameo?
Ooh.
I'm going to go Roger Miller though.
It's Carlos Valderrama. He cannot get a cameo off. Again, Roger Miller must be like 70?
102, yeah.
I think that's a fair guess.
So yeah, I really thought I was kind of worried for a second. I was going to name one. You can't get it off them because they're dead.
That was a segment. I don't even know if I mentioned the name of it. I called it Cammy. Whoa, because some of these prices are just so wacky.
I know Wesley Snipes costs like £500.
Good lord,
which really hurt because I was going to try and get a cameo off of him for a podcast I was working on a while ago, and then I went up there and I was like, oh god, I really massively overstated how much this would cost, so I didn't do it obviously.
It was kind of fun. I'd heard of the website, but I'd never really looked into it. It was kind of fun. If you want to do it, I think it's kind of fun to just find people that you like and just see how much they charge you.
Yeah, it's a fun game for the whole family. Well, this has been a fun podcast for the whole family. As we tick to the hour mark, we're going to we'll say our goodbyes.
Well, I need to wrap up with
Oh,
the
you need to let us
Sockbusters
know,
answers.
Sockbusters.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean, I imagine we still got loads of people listening. So this, of course, was the Chelsea edition of Sockbusters. The first one, pretty easy one. It took Leonardo DiCaprio until 2016 to win one of these. Initial O. Nathan.
It's Oscar.
It is Oscar, who, well, maybe not an extraordinary career, but the way how he just kind of left very suddenly, and I just haven't heard from him since. He's been in
He's
China
still in
for ages.
China, isn't he? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
There was a quote from him once that he was saying, "Well, I can't feed my family on World Cup medals."
Which is the kind of
why he
attitude
went to
I want
China
at my
just to
club.
just to take the China cash, which he's going to have to leave now because they've got the salary cap over there
I
now.
saw that, yeah. It's been introduced for foreign players, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, kind of fair enough. I mean, they're making an absolute fortune out there. So the second one was the father can't remember if he has a little boy, initial E. Nathan, he still plays for Chelsea and he's a defender. Do you have any idea?
Still plays for Chelsea and he's a defender.
I think he still plays. He was there last season.
Oh, is it Emerson?
It is Emerson Palmeiras. And the clue there being son. The father can't remember if he has a little boy. And the final one, another current Chelsea player. My young lad is a giant hill. Initials MM. Has he got it?
It's Mason Mount.
It's Mason the Mount. I don't know what accent that is, but it just kind of fit the clue. So there you go. Those are this week's Sockbusters.
They're incredible. And to finish off, we do have a question. It's coming from Anthony Fitzpatrick, who tweeted us on Twitter.
Thank you, Anthony.
Who would you back in a fight, Dyche or Klopp?
Oh, I like this one.
I like this question. Thank you, Anthony, for sending it in.
Do you know, the one thing I always think about Dyche is I always imagine he's like massive. For some reason, I always think of him as having like a bit of a belly and just looking absolutely massive. But he's actually really slim.
Loves a festival as well. I remember when he was on the Crouchy pod and before Crouchy had signed for Burnley, apparently he saw Dyche at the Isle of Wight festival. He was like hammered. He's a huge music fan, apparently. Is Mr. Dyche.
No wonder he offered Crouchy a deal. So Crouchy was about 37 at this point. I don't know. Klopp sort of has the aura of like a proper like massive German sort of brick house, but I think if it came to it, I think I'd nearly rather Dyche in a fight. You know, I feel he's more to the death. Maybe it's just the voice.
I think if you gotta live and work in Burnley, and you got a certain edge to you. Whereas Klopp, he seems a little bit la-di-da as well. He seems a bit angry, but also he's a little bit of a fancy man.
Yeah, he's a bit of a shouter. He loves to shout at the officials and that. But again, I remember a penalty, and if this doesn't answer the question, I don't know what will. There's a penalty that Sean Dyche took for Watford, where it's just the most English-looking penalty you'll ever see in your life. So he's a centre-back, and he's just absolutely smashed it down the middle of the goal. And if that doesn't answer your question, Anthony, I don't know what will.
Yeah, there you go. Dyche would smash him down the middle. That's what we're saying. That would be. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. We said it as Southampton wrap up their win over Arsenal for a 1-0 win, knocking Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Yeah, good on them. Well done, whoever scored. Kyle Walker-Peters scored. There you go.
Well done.
Who would have thought Kyle Walker would no longer be the best Kyle Walker?
Yeah, I love when, Tottenham had to replace Kyle Walker with Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah, upgrade. It's like when you get an iPhone 7S.
Very similar, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same, but with just a little another initial. Well, as always, find Project Dits at Project DITS on the Twitter. Send us in more questions. We'll answer anything as long as it's not too rude. You can find me at Nathan Greenaway. As always, you can listen to me talk things other than football on Rogue Opinions at Rogue_Opinion. I've got a new podcast coming called That Ain't Sport. It's a very different sort of podcast. It's a scripted comedy joint. So that launches
Ooh.
February 1st, but you can already go subscribe to the feeds wherever you get your podcasts, or follow it on Twitter at That Ain't Sport. Darragh, what have you got going on? Where can people find you?
Same place as always, Twitter at Gibbons_Darragh. And to send us home, I'm going to give you this week's trivia question, Nathan. Who, in build up to Liverpool United in the FA Cup, obviously, so it's themed to that, who was the first player to be punished over a tweet in English football?
Oh, that's a big question.
That's very topical. So
Very topical.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, go have a think about that for a week, and we'll be back next time. Bye, guys.
Good luck.